Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Maitreya Uvacha Sadhuprishtam Tvaya Sadho Lokan Sadhu Anugranata Virtimitanvata Loke Atmano Adhoksha Jatmanaha.
Sri Maitreya said, O Vidura, O glory unto you! You have inquired from me of the greatest of all goodness, and thus you have shown your mercy both to the world and to me, because your mind is always absorbed in thoughts of the transcendence.
Netachitram Tvayekshatar Badaraya Naviryaje Rihito Ananya Bhavena Yatvaya Harir Ishvara.
O Vidura, it is not at all wonderful that you have so accepted the Lord without deviation of thought. For you were born from the semen of Vyasadeva.
Mandavya Shatad Bhagavan Prajasam Yamano Yama Vratukshite Bhujishyayam Jatasatyavate Sutta.
I know that you are now Vidura, due to the cursing of Mandavya Muni, and that formerly you were King Yamraja, the great controller of living entities after their death. You were begotten by the son of Satyavati, Vyasadeva, in the kept wife of his brother.
Bhagavan Bhagavato Nityam Samata Sanugasyaha Yasya Gyano Padeshaya Madeshad Bhagavan Rajan.
Your good self is one of the eternal associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for whose sake the Lord, while going back to his abode, left instructions with me.
Adhate Bhagavan Lila Yogama Yoram Hita Vishvastiti Udbhavantartha Varanayani Anuparvashaha.
I shall therefore describe to you the pastimes by which the personality of Godhead extends his transcendental potency for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic world as they occur one after another.
Bhagavan Eka Asedam Agratim Vibho Atmechanu Gato Atma Nanamati Apalakshanaha.
The personality of Godhead, the master of all living entities, existed prior to the creation as one without a second. It is by his will only that creation is made possible, and again, everything merges in him. The Supreme Self is symptomized by different names.
Savayasha Tadadrashta Napashya Drishya Mekara Minyasantam Ivatmanam Suptashaktir Asutadrik.
The Lord, the undisputed proprietor of everything, was the only seer. The cosmic manifestation was not present at that time, and thus he felt imperfect without his plenary and separated parts and parcels. The material energy was dormant, whereas the internal potency was manifested.
Savaitasya Sandrashto Shakti Sat Asatatmika Mayana Mahamhaga Yayedam Nirmame Vibho.
The Lord is the seer and the external energy, which is seen, works as both cause and effect in the cosmic manifestation. O greatly fortunate Vidura! This external energy is known as Maya or illusion, and through her agency only is the entire material manifestation made possible.
Kalavrityatu Mayayam Gunamaya Madhokshaja Purushenatma Bhutena Viryamadhate Viryavan.
The supreme living being, in his feature, as a transcendental Purusha incarnation, who is the Lord's plenary expansion, impregnates the material nature of three modes, and thus by the influence of eternal time, the living entities appear.
Tato bhavan mahatatvam avyaktat kala chodatat vidyanatmatma dehastham vishwamya jamstamonudam.
Thereafter, influenced by the interactions of eternal time, the supreme sum total of matter, called the Mahat Tattva, became manifested. And in this Mahat Tattva, the unalloyed goodness, the Supreme Lord, sowed the seeds of universal manifestation out of his own body.
Swapi amsha gunakalatma bhagavat drishtigochara atmanam yakarotatma vishwasyasya sisirikshaya.
Thereafter, the Mahat Tattva differentiated itself into many different forms as the reservoir of the would-be entities. The Mahat Tattva is chiefly in the mode of ignorance, and it generates the false ego. It is a plenary expansion of the personality of Godhead, with full consciousness of creative principles and time for fructification.
Mahatattvat vikurvanat aham tattvam yajayata karyakarana karatratma utendriya manomaya vikarikas tejasascha tamasashetyaham tridha.
Mahat Tattva, or the great casual truth, transforms into the false ego, which is manifested in three phases: cause, effect, and the doer. All such activities are on mental plane and are based on the material elements, gross senses, and mental speculation. The false ego is represented in three different modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance.
Aham tattvat vikurvanat mano vikarikatabhot vikarikashaye deva Arthabhiyanjanam yata.
The false ego is transformed into mind by interaction with the modes of goodness. All the demigods who control the phenomenal world are also products of the same principle, namely, the interaction of false ego and the mode of goodness.
Tejasanindriyani va yanakarma maya nicha.
The senses are certainly products of the mode of passion in false ego, and therefore philosophical speculative knowledge and fruitive activities are predominantly products of the mode of passion.
Tamasa bhuta sukshmadir yatakham lingamatmanaha.
The sky is a product of sound, and sound is a transformation of egoistic passion. In other words, the sky is a symbolic representation of the Supreme Soul.
Salamayam shayogena bhagavat yikshitam madhaha nabhaso anushritam sparasham vikurvanirmane nilam.
Thereafter, the personality of Godhead glanced over the sky, partly mixed with eternal time and external energy, and thus developed the touch sensation from which the air in the sky was produced.
Aniloti vikurvano namahasoru balanvita tasarjarupa tanmatram jatirlakasya lochanam.
Thereafter, the extremely powerful air, interacting with the sky, generated the form of sense perception, and the perception of form transformed into electricity, the light to see the world. Hare Krishna. Please forgive me for any mistakes.
Hare Krishna, please forgive me mine as well. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Namrata Mataji and Pandavarjan Prabhuji for the very nice recitation. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very beautiful recitations. Okay, thank you so much for kindly joining this evening for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, before we start our Srimad Bhagavatam, We shall offer our Mangalacharan prayers to our Guru Krishna and all the Vaishnavas. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांशं श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांशाम्। हे कृष्ण करुणसिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकासस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृणुतां स्वकथाः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्त्वह्य भद्रान् विधुनोति सुहृत्सतां। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। एते चां शकलाः पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयम् इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे। इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितम् उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेयसाय लोकसधन्यं स्वस्तये नमः। कृष्णे स्वदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह खलु न शुश्रूषामेष पुराणार्को अधुनोदितः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये। अति विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशमिमं चिन्तिदृढं पाण्डिषु विष्णुषु। त्वयि मेनन्य विषया मतिर्मदपते सत्कुरुत् रतिमुद्वाह तदद्दा गङ्ग्यौ भूदन्वती। श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सख विष्णुर्षभावनिधृराजन्यवंशदहनानपवर्गवीर्य गोविन्द गोद्विजसुराट्यहरावतार योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। त्वलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गीसङ्गस्य मच्चैनां किमुतः शशः। पुनश्च भूयाद् भगवत्यनन्ते रतिः प्रसङ्गशतदाश्रयेषु महस्त्वयाम्यामुपयां सृष्टिं मैत्रस्य सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः। ॐ नमो भगवते राधा गोविन्दाय नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे। परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीगुरुं देनतारिणं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरम् Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak few words on Srimad Bhagavatam. I shall share my screen. We are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter number 5. It is the conversations between Vidura and Maitreya Rishi. So just to give a recap, so in the last session, um, so Vidura has inquired from Maitreya, so number of questions, and then to speak about the Supreme Personality of God, many other topics, and at the end, he wanted to know about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Sukadeva Goswami wanted to, he is describing those conversations to Parikshit Maharaj, whatever has happened between Vidura and Maitreya. And here, after Vidura's inquiry, Maitreya Rishi mentions to Vidura that, "Oh Vidura, you have inquired from me all auspicious questions. It is good for the entire universe, and also you are merciful to me as well." So here, when we ask, generally we wanted to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, but at the same time, the hearer also is as much important as the speaker when he is asking questions. And if we are hearing, then we will relish the katha, but if we are inquiring questions, it would not only help the speaker, it will help everyone else. But we may think sometimes this is general question, but we do not have to know. We do not have to hesitate to ask any questions. It would help everyone. So, ye atma suprasidati. Whoever is asked such kind of questions, they will get the ye atma suprasidati, the ultimate suprasidati, the complete peacefulness, and also attain the path of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in such a way, Maitreya Rishi mentioning to Vidura that, addressing him, that you are also son of Vyasadeva. So you are born to the um, by the semen of Vyasadeva, and then so in your previous life you are Yamadharmaraja due to the curse of Mandavya Muni. So you became Vidura here, became like a Sudra. Likewise, Maitreya Rishi is mentioning to Vidura. And then say, after saying that, I will explain and describe all the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And whenever the Lord Krishna was leaving this abode, so he has left so many instructions for you. So I will speak all of those things. Likewise, Maitreya Muni says to Vidura. So today we are continuing those things, what Maitreya Rishi is saying. Okay, so we are in the 22nd verse, 5th chapter, 22nd verse. So, and here, Vidura is also, he is the previous Lord Yamadharmaraja. He is one of the 12 Mahajanas. So that's why Bhagavan Bhagavato Nityam Sammataha Sanugastyah Yasya Jnana Upadeshaya Ma Adishad Bhagavan Brajan. Adishad Bhagavan Brajan. When he was leaving, he has left those instructions for you. Those instructions are with me now. I will speak all of those pastimes that you have inquired, O Vidura. Likewise, we are going to start what Maitreya is saying. Atate Bhagavallila Yogamaya Urubruhmitah Visvasiti Udbhavantadha Varnani Anupurvashah Varnayami Anupurvashah. So Atate Bhagavallila. So all those pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavallila. And Yogamaya Urubrahmitaham. Yogamaya is the internal potency of the Lord, energy of the Lord. And Urubrahmitaha, they are greatly extended by all all his Bhagavad Leela, the different pastimes, Leela Avataras, they are for the devotee's sake. They're expanded by the internal potency of the Lord. Guru Brahmitaha. Vishwasthiti Udbhava Anta Vishwasthiti Udbhava. This is of the cosmic world. Sthiti, maintenance. Udbhava is the creation. Anta is the dissolution. Addaha, for that purpose. So the Lord expands all his different incarnations. And here, Varnayami Anu Purvashaha. I shall describe those pastimes systematically. So this Maitreya Rishi is saying to Vidura. So I am going to describe all these pastimes systematically, one after another, since beginning of the creation. So this is Bhavayatyesha Satvena Lokanvai Lokabhavanaha Leelavatanuruto Devatriyak Nadadishu. So the Lord appears in this material world for what? Bhavayatyesha Satvena. So for the to bring all the purified souls to his abode. And then Leelavatanuruto, he performs his pastimes Leela Avatara Devatriyak Naradishu. He appears in the Devas and Tiryak Nara Adishu in many different species of life, like the fish, boar, and many other pastimes, inclusive of demigods like the Vamana Deva. So here, those pastimes, Bhagavan Leela, they are Yoga Maya Guru Brahmitaha. They are extended by internal potency of the Lord. So I shall therefore describe to you the pastimes by which personality of God extends his transcendental potency for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic world as they occur one after another. And purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the omnipotent Lord, by his different energies, can perform anything and everything he likes. The creation of the cosmic world is done by his Yogamaya energy. So Lord has got many energies. Parasaktir Vividaiva Shurayate. Parasaktir Vividaiva Shurayate. They are Swabhaviki Jnana Balakriyacha. So out of those things, so here Yogamaya energy is deployed for the creation of this cosmic world. Prabhupada is describing here. And the Lord is the omnipotent Lord by his different energies. Okay, so we shall move to the next verse. So Maitreya is going to describe it further. भगवानेक आसेदम् अग्र आत्मा आत्मानं विभुः आत्मेचानुगतवात्मा नानामति उपलक्षणः Bhagavan Eka Asedam. So in the beginning of the creation, so there was only Lord. Asa Idam. In this creation, Bhagavan Eka, he is the only one without second. Bhagavan Eka Asa Idam. Agra Atma Atmanam Vibhuhu. So Agre, in the prior to the creation. Atma Atmanam. So in his own form, and Atmanam of the living entities. Vibhuhu is the master of all the creation. And then Atmecha, Atma Icha, Anugatav. So by his self-desire, so when there is nothing, so he desired that he wanted to create this Drusyamana Jagat, the visible material creation. Anugatav, he is being merged in Atma, self, and Nanamati, different vision, Upalakshanaha, those symptoms. Different vision and symptoms, Upalakshanaha. So, Atmecha Anugatav Atma, Nanamati Upalakshanaha. So, translation for this verse. The personality of Godhead, master of all living entities, existed prior to the creation as one without a second. It is by his will only that creation is made possible, and again everything merges in him. This Supreme Self is symptomized by different names. Symptomized by different names. So whenever the Lord, he expands himself as for the creation, he is Brahma. He expands for himself as the Vishnu. For the maintenance, he is called Vishnu. And for annihilation, he expands himself as the Lord Shiva. So in such a way, the Lord with symptomized by different names, but everyone are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is Bhagavan Eka Asedham Agra Atma Atmanam Vibhuhu Atme cha Anugatavatma Nanamati Upalakshanah. Okay, so purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the great sage here begins to explain the purpose of the four original verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Although they have no access to the Srimad Bhagavatam, the followers of the Mayavada impersonal school sometimes screw out an imaginary explanation of the original four verses. But we must accept that actual explanation given herein by Maitreya Muni, because he, along with Uddhava, personally heard it directly from the Lord. The first line of the original four verses runs, Aham evasam evagre. The word Aham is misinterpreted by the Mayavada school into meanings which no one but the interpreter can understand. So here, Aham is explained as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not the individual living entities. Before the creation, there was only the Personality of Godhead. There were no Purusha incarnations and certainly no living entities, nor was there the material energy by which the manifested creation is affected. The Purusha incarnations and all the different energies of the Supreme Lord were merged in Him only. The personality of Godhead is described herein as the master of all the living entities. He is like the sun rays, and the living entities are like the molecules of the sun rays. This existence of the Lord before the creation is confirmed by the Shrutis. Vasudeva va idam agra asit na brahma na sankashanaha eko vai narayana asin na brahma na ishanaha. Because everything that be is an emanation from the personality of Godhead, that is Narayana. And then here, he always exists alone without a second. He can so exist because he is all perfect and omnipotent. Everything other than him, including his plenary expansions, the Vishnu Tattvas, his part and parcel. And before the creation, there were no Karnodak Sai Vishnu, Karnanava Sai Vishnu, or Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, or Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. Nor was there Brahma or Shankara. That is, na Brahma, na Shankaraha, na Brahma, na Ishanaha. That is, only Eko Vai Narayana Asin. So there is no Brahma or Shankara. The Vishnu plenary expansion and the living entities beginning from Brahma are separated parts and parcels. Although the spiritual existence was there with the Lord, the material existence was dormant in him. By his will only is the material manifestation done and undone. The diversity of Vaikuntha Loka is one with the Lord, just as the diversity of soldiers is one with and the same as the king. As explained in the Bhagavad Gita 9.7, the material creation takes place at intervals by the will of the Lord. And in the periods between dissolution and creation, the living entities and the material energy remain dormant in him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Prabhupada here describing, starting with the Chatushloki Bhagavata. This is starting from the four statements. Aham eva sameva gre nan yad yad tad asat param paschadaham eretaccha yo avashisheta so asmyaham. So that is the first statement. I am the existing before the creation, during the creation, after the annihilation of this creation. I only exist. Aham eva sameva gre nan yad yad tad asat param paschadaham eretaccha yo avashisheta so asmyaham. And second statement is the Vrityadham yat pratyeta na pratyeta chatmani tad vidyad atmano mayam yata bhaso yata tamaham. Everything is in relation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. but which appears to be that it is not in connecting with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is illusory. Yatha bhatu yatha tamaha. That is illusory energy of the Lord. So, and also we have to everything link with the Supreme Personality of dovetail with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, if you think that it is not related to Krishna, that is the illusory energy of the Lord. If we see material, this Western world and many other different parts of the world, they think that there is no Krishna consciousness there. But Krishna consciousness, they are linked to the Lord, but in a different way. They are engaged in their karmic activities. That is illusory energy is working on such kind of things. So one is it works in the two different dimensions. One is the throwing influence, that is illusory energy, and covering influence. Another one is it covers that one does not have any connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, though he is nearer to the temples and God and all the devotees, but he doesn't take to Krishna consciousness. That is the covering illusory energy. And other thing is the throwing. So they will be far away from the temple and devotees and all the scriptures, philosophy and everything. Like the Western, it's the kind of a darkness. That is the throwing illusory energy. So that is the second statement. Third statement is the Yada Mahanti Bhutani Bhuteshu Chavacheshuru Pravistani Aprivistani Tata Teshu Natpeshwaram. Like the Panchabhutas, this universe is covered by the seven layers. This is earth, water, fire, and whether mind, intelligence, and ego, Mahatattva. These are the seven coverings. They are again they enter into the universe like into the Bhumandala, where again they expand, and also they enter into the bodies of the living entities. At the same time, those elements are separately existed as well. Our body is made up of these elements only, five elements. But at the same time, these five elements are different. We don't always merge with these elements. Of course, when we die, when we leave this body is going to decompose into merge into all the five elements. But this is what the Yata Mahanti Bhutani Bhuteshu Chavacheshu Pravistani Aprivistani Tatateshu Natveshvaham. And the fourth statement is until everyone's research and identifying the ultimate truth, absolute truth. So until they come to the point that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna or Narayana, is the Vasudeva Sarvamiti. So until that point, etavadyev jijnasum tat vijnasunatmanaha anvaya vitirekabhyam yasyat sarvatra sarvada. So until they come to their research brings them to the point that only Krishna or Narayana is the ultimate goal. Until that point, so that is the fourth statement that Lord spoke. Everyone's inquiries should end at that point. So here, the aham, many people, but Prabhupada has given elaborated purport for those four verses, because in order to counteract this, our impersonalism commentaries, though it is very simple to understand, when we are speaking, there is a speaker here. So if I cover something on behalf of me, you don't see the speaker, but at the same time, you can hear the sound. Similarly, the Vedas, they exist. They are the Shrutis, they are the sound form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They come from the breath of the Lord. So behind that, the Lord is always there. Bhagavan Shabdha Gocharaha. Yatra Chadhyapamanaste Bhagavan Shabdha Gocharaha. Sattum Vishtabhyavirjam Swanamno Mrudendrushaha. So the Lord, he is in the Vaikuntha Lokas. Yatra Chadhyapamanaste Bhagavan Shabdha Gocharaha. He can be understood by the sound vibrations in this material world. So in order to explain that one, aham, evasam gre, Prabhupada has given elaborate. Again, we have to take that. Whoever is saying aham, when I say I, this belongs to me, the speaker who is speaking. Whenever Lord speaks, then aham, that applies to the Lord. That is a very simple and plain thing. But this Mayavad, they will speculate. They speculate so many things. Okay, that is Prabhupada explaining here. The Supreme, this is Krishna also, whenever he says aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam bhuda bhava samanvitaha. When he says that one, Krishna is the source of everything. That Krishna is explaining there directly to the Arjuna. So that is Krishna, aham, and not the individual living entities. Individual living entities are the marginal energy of the Lord. Though they are the para prakriti. अपरे स्वन्याम विद्धि में पराम प्रकृतिम Jeo Bhota Mahabaho Ye Dharite Jagat. They come here in this material world to experience these pains and pleasures according to their desires. And because of those things, they take particular type of body, particular type of senses. They will come and occupy one body and think that it is me and experience. Um, they experience these pains. Bhunte Prakrijan Gunam Karanam Gunasangasya Sad Asadjhoni Janmasu. So that is living entities. And then there were no Purusha incarnations and certainly no living entities, nor was there the material energy, which is by which manifested creation is affected. The Purusha incarnation and all different energies of the Supreme Lord were merged in him only. So for this material creation, Vishnu Satrini Rupani, there are three different Vishnus. That is Karnadaksai Vishnu, Garbhodaksai Vishnu, Kshirodaksai Vishnu Satrini Rupani, Purushasya. So they are the three Purushas. One is the Ekam Jagasrastuhu, Dvitiyam tu Tvandasam Sitam, Trutiyam Sarvabhutastam. So that is the three Vishnus. But they are also part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So only Govinda is the existing. Govinda Madipurun Tamaham Bhajam. So they were merged in him only. Okay, so this is what Prabhupada is describing here. And so all these things in the first canto, third chapter, so 1 to 29 verses, about uh, three Purushas, and then later on 22 different incarnations of the Lord are described, and then finally Krishna was mentioned that Ete Chamsa Kalaha Pumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokum Vrudiyanti Yuge Yuge. He appears once in a Brahma's day. And for the sake of the devotees, Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chadushkritam Dharma Samstapanardhaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So likewise, but all incarnations, whenever Krishna appears, many of these Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, they're all with Krishna only. They're all expansions of the Lord, Chaturvyuha. Okay, and then further, Prabhupada is describing about the personality of Godhead is described here as the master of all the living entities. He is like the sun disk, and the living entities are like the molecules of the sun's rays. So this is the Vishnu Shakti Paraprokta Kshetrajñakya. So because of their tendency to experience or enjoy, they are separated from the Lord. And Lord has given this material world, you just go and enjoy, experience whatever you think, and then come back. But people, they forget about the Lord after that. But otherwise, the Lord has no desire to create this universe unnecessarily, to make the living entities go on suffer dukkha, ashashvatam. As a father wanted to give the best thing for his children. But what to speak of the Supreme Father? He wanted to give supreme thing, supreme best. Otherwise, so he doesn't have any desire to create this universe. Naijat bhatadisha padam tavetsitam yan maya tanuse bodha sukshmam anugrahaya astopi irhimaya lasatulasya bhagavan vilakshitaha. So this is again Kardama Prajapati says in his prayers to the Lord, Na etad bhagavan tava ipsitam. It is not your desire to create this material world. So that is the living entities coming. They are just like the molecules of the sun rays. The existence of the Lord before the creation is confirmed by the Shrutis. This is the Vasudevava idam agra asit. Vasudeva exists. This is the na Brahma, na cha Sankaraha, eko vai Narayanam, asi na Brahma, na Ishanaha. See, this is everything, every statement of Shrutis confirms Vasudeva and Narayana. They are the only one person exists before the creation. Because everything that be is emanation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he always exists alone without a second. So even here in this one statement, I just wanted to share here one more thing. So this comes like Garbhodaka Vishnu screen, entire screen. So there is again the beautiful picture of the Goloka chart. It describes about the Supreme Personality Godhead, how he exists. It's a big document, big PDF. This is the Lord's Vaikuntha planets and also Goloka Vrindavana Vaikuntha planets. And here, whenever in this material world is separated by Virja river, again from the Karnodak Sai Vishnu, all these living entities in the form of golden eggshells, they come out of the Lord's body from the bodily force, and then they are covered by the Mahat Tattva. So they are covered by the Mahatattva in such a way that egg cell will be developed as a big, gigantic egg cell. That is the universe. And then Lord expands himself as the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu here. So the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, he lies only here in the Garbhodaka ocean. मृणालगौरायत शेषभोगः पर्यङ्क एकं पुरुषं शयानं फनाथपत्रयत मुद्धरत्न द्युपिः अतद्भान्त युगान्ततोये. This universe is the dark and the Lord is only one existing and lying on the Adishesha. On top of this Adishesha, there are all jewels which are giving the so much effulgence which dissipates the darkness. He exists there. Is the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. This is within the universe. Of course, there outside universe. Again, Karnadaka Sai Vishnu. And here again, Vaikuntha Loka, Narayana. And then above, Krishna is there. So that one also mentioned, Udaplutum Vishwam idam tat asid. Yennidrayamila druk nyamilayet ahindra talpe adashana ekaha. Krutakshanaha swatmarato nirishaha. So he exists on the Ahindra Talpe, the bed of the Ahindra, Adishesha. And Krutakshanaha Swatma Ratu Nirishaha. So his eyes were not completely closed. Likewise, his mood is different. And then, likewise, Antahatiri Darpite Bhotutukshmaha Kalatmikam Siktim Mudirayanaha. Huvas Tasmin Sarale Padesve Yatanalo Darini Ruddhaviryaha. And all the living entities. So, antaha sarira arpite bhotu sukshmaha. In his body, they are merged in. Kalatmikam siktim udirayanaha. So, just like the strength of the fire within the fuel wood, the Lord remained within the water of dissolution, submerging all the living entities in their subtle bodies. He lay in the self-invigorated energy called Kala. And then, after 1,000 yuga cycles, like the Chaturyuganam Sahasramapsu Swapan Swaya Buddhitaya Swasekya Kalakya Yasadita Karmatantro Lokanapitan Dadrushe Swadehe. So the Lord laid down for 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas in his internal potency, and by his external energy, he appeared to be sleeping within the water. When the living entities were coming out for further development of their fruitive activities, actuated by the energy called Kala Shakti. This is a Kalakya Karma Tantra. He saw his transcendental body as bluish. His transcendental body as the bluish. So here Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, whenever his body is turning bluish, that is 100 yoga cycles are passed. That is Brahma's one daytime or night time. At the time, it is the time for the living entities to come out and then continue their karmic activities. Kalakyasita karma tantru. So that what it mentioned is, in the beginning, only the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists without a second. That is a statement. But here, just whenever it comes to the Purusha itself, is the only the first exist, and beyond that Purusha, Karnodaka Sai Vishnu again, Narayana. So and then before that is Krishna is there. Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakaha, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parahpriyaha. Vasudeva Parodharmo, Vasudeva Paramdhyanam, Vasudeva Paragatihi. Likewise, in the beginning of the Bhagavatam itself, Suta Goswami described. Okay, so that is only the Lord existed. He can so exist because he is all perfect and omnipotent. He is the Swarat and also Ekarat. He is the Ekarat or Swarat, independent, completely independent. Everything other than him, including his plenary expansions, the Vishnu Tattvas, is his part and parcel. Before the creation, there were no Karnanava Sai Vishnu or Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, Kshirodak Sai Vishnu, nor was there Brahma or Shankara. This is what we have discussed here. And then Vishnu plenary expansion, living entities beginning from Brahma, separated parts and parcels. And also here, whenever the Lord expands himself, though he is the one, he expands as the Vishnu form. Tujami Taniyuktoham, to Hariti Tadvashaha, Vishwam Purusha Rupena Paripati, Paripati, so Vishwadruv. So he maintains this universe like creation, maintenance, and destruction, but at the same time, this Brahma and Shiva are in his control. Sujami Taniyuktoham, Haro Hariti Tadvashaha, in his control. But Vishnu Tattva, though it is a plenary expansion, but they are the Samana Dharma. Deeparchayevi, Dasantaram Abhipetya, Deepayate Vivrita Hetu Samana Dharma. That is Samana Dharma. There is no difference, but it is only in the potency wise, no difference. In the functions wise, there is a difference. So Garbhodak Sai Vishnu has got one function, Karnadak Sai Vishnu has got one function, like that. But whenever it comes to Krishna, he is the Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the Ananda Chinmaya, Pratibhavitabihi, Tabhiryev Nivasati Akilatma Bhut. So again, that beautiful verse is there from the Brahma Samhita. He enjoys with his all the gopis in the Goloka Vrindavan. So although the spiritual existence was there with the Lord, the material existence was dormant within him. By his will only the eternal manifestation done and undone. And the diversity of the Vaikuntha Loka is one with the Lord, just as the diversity of the soldiers one with and the same as the king. And then again Prabhupada is mentioning about the Bhagavad Gita. Material creation takes place at intervals by the will of the Lord and in the periods between dissolution and creation. So this is again the Kala Chakra. Yasyadhya Brahmati Kala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Kala Chakra. It is going under the direction of Krishna only. Yasyadhya Brahmati Sambruta Kala Chakro. So this all this Kala Chakra, it makes the sun movement, all the different kinds of planets, they are moving according to the time factor. Vartayanti anuyugam vashetat sacharacharam. This is again yadbhayat, by the fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Gunabhimano devaha. So all the three principal deities, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Gunabhimano devaha, Sargadishu asya yadbhayat, by the fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they will carry out their functions. Vartanti anuyugam yesham vaseyat. Vaktanti anuyugam vashayetat sacharacharam, moving and non-moving, everything under the fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they act in their way. And there is so many rivers, they flow the rivers, and the herbs and the waters, flowers, fruits, everything. Shve shve kale anugruhananti pushpani cha phalani cha, everything. And the ocean does not cross the beach from its limits. That is also there. All by the fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just by his will. So he does evil. He is the Swarat and Ekarat. So here, Sarvabhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Mamikam Kalpakshe Punastani Kalpada Visrujamyaham. Again, this Prabhupada mentions this verse. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. So likewise, here Maitreya, she is explaining to Vidura, and Prabhupada is describing the Lord's pastimes. all by the will of the Lord. Okay, so that is the verse. Bhagavan ek asa idam agra atma atmanam vibhuhu atme chanu gatavatma nanamati upalakshanaha. By and also whoever hears these pastimes, they will get relief from all the material pangs. Okay, that is the beauty of Krishna Katha. शरीरमानसदिव्याः वैहाशे च मानुषाः भौतिकाशकथं क्लेश बाधन्ति हरिसंश्रयम्. All the pains, they will be bhadanti harisamsriyam. When we take the shelter of Krishna, nothing, no pains can harm us, agitate us, our mind. We are always stable and calm and quiet and keep doing our duty. Don't bother about anything outside things, material things. Okay, so we shall move to the next verse. Again, the Maitreya further he is saying that whenever he has seen that only himself, there is no other expand the visible world, material world, at the time he decided to create. Okay, we shall decide this one. Savayesha tada drashta na apasya drishyam ekarat mene asantam ivatmanam supta sektir asupta dhruv. Savayesha tada drashta. So the personality of Godhead. So yesha, all this, and tada drashta, at the time, drashta is the seer. Na apasyad drishyam ekarat. Na pasyad. So he did not see Drishyam, the cosmic creation which we can see. Na pasyad Drishyam Ekarat, the undisputed proprietor. He is the undisputed proprietor. Mene asantam ivatmanam. He thought like this. Asantam, non-existent, ever like atmanam, plenary manifestations. Supta sektihi, unmanifested material energy. And asupta dhruv, manifested internal potency. So at the time, only his internal energy is there, manifested. So this is yatta trigunam avyaktam nityam sad asadatmakam. And pradhanam prakritim prahuhu pradhanam prakritihi avishesham visheshavat. Pradhana is the avishesham and prakriti is the vishesham which is manifested. Before that it is pradhanam. Okay, so this here, now what Lord wanted to do. So the translation, Savayesha tadadarshta na apasya drusyam ekarat mene asanta mivatmanam supta sektir asupta dhruv. The translation, the Lord, the undisputed proprietor of everything, was the only seer. The cosmic manifestation was not present at that time. And thus, he felt imperfect without his plenary and separated parts and parcels. And the material energy was dormant, whereas the internal potency was manifested. And purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the Lord is the supreme seer because only by his glance did the material energy become active for cosmic manifestation. At that time, the seer was there, but the external energy over which the glance of the Lord is cast was not present. He felt somewhat insufficient, like a husband feeling lonely in the absence of his wife. So this is a poetic simile. The Lord wanted to create the cosmic manifestation to give another chance to the conditioned souls who were dormant in forgetfulness. The cosmic manifestation gives the conditioned souls a chance to go back home, back to Godhead, and that is its main purpose. The Lord is so kind that in the absence of such manifestation, he feels something wanting, and thus the creation takes place. Although the creation of the internal potency was manifested, the other potency appeared to be sleeping, and the Lord wanted to awaken her to activity. Just as a husband wants to awaken his wife from the sleeping state for enjoyment. It is the compassion of compassion of the Lord for the sleeping energy that he wants to see her awaken for enjoyment like the other wives who are awake. The whole process is to enliven the sleeping conditioned souls to the real life of spiritual consciousness, so that they may thus become as perfect as the ever liberated souls in the Vaikuntha Lokas. Since the Lord is Sachidananda Vigraha, he likes every part and parcel of his different potencies to take part in the blissful rasa, because participation with the Lord in his eternal Rasa Leela is the highest living condition, perfect in spiritual bliss and eternal knowledge. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So here again it is a different descriptions that Vidura is saying to Maitreya is speaking to Vidura. So Sava Yesha Tada Drishta Na Apasidrustyam Ekarat Meni Asanta Mivatmanam Supta Sektihi Asupta Dhruk. Supta Sektihi Asupta Dhruk. So Prabhupada is describing here. So whenever only the seer is there, he wanted something to enjoy as well. So the Lord is the enjoyer. Sachid Ananda Vigraha. He wanted to see something for his enjoyment. So, but the external energy over which the glance of the Lord is cast was not present. So at the time, only Rama Devi was there. So as we see here in the Garbhodak Sai Vishnu is here, and also Goddess of Fortune here. They are Rama Devi always in the control of the Vishnu. And similarly here, Karnadak Sai Vishnu again, he is glancing on the Rama Devi. Then her glance is going to be the Maya. Her glance is going to be the Maya. That is the Durga Devi. Let's increase this one. So whenever the Lord Karnadak Sai Vishnu glances on Rama Devi, so the shadow energy of the Lord is the Maya. This is again the Vyasadeva has seen. She is always next to Krishna. Mayam Chatadapashriyam Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak Pranihite Amale Apasyat Purusham Purnam Mayam Chatadapashriyam. Maya is always behind Krishna, the Lord. So with his energy, at the time, material energy was not present. So he felt somewhat insufficient, like a husband feeling lonely in the absence of his wife. And then this is a poetic simile. So Prabhupada is in order to for us to understand, is describing like that. Is a poetic simile. The Lord wanted to create the cosmic manifestation to give another chance to the conditioned souls who are dormant in forgetfulness. Who are dormant. This is again the Daivat Chupita Dharminyam Swastyam Yona Parapuman Adatya Viryam Sahasota Mahatattvam Hiranmayam. And the Lord agitates this material energy and inject all his Adatya Viryam, his semen, inject into this Mahatattva. Hiranmayam, it is called Hiranmaya. That is how he agitates this material. This is Daivat Chupita Dharminyam. Daivat Chupita Dharminyam Swasyam Yono Parapuman, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Adatya Viryam Sahasota Mahatattvam Hiranmayam. He places his semen into Mahatattva, which is called Hiranmaya. Whatever we see here, this golden eggs. Hiranmaya is the kind of a golden. This is what I understand. Hiranmayam, and his semen is in the golden egg cells. Mahatattvam is here, there are clouds, and they will be wrapped up. Just like whenever the father injects the semen into the mother womb, there in the Ekam tu Kalalam tu Ekaratrena, Pancharatrena Budbudam, Dasai tu Karkandohu, Pastyandam Ve Tatah Param. So initially, it is just like a peanut size in the fifth day, and then first day Kalalam tu Ekaratrena. First, it is mixing the semen with the egg cells, and then second is on the fifth day Pancharatrin Budbudam, just like little bubble. Dasa Henetu Katkanduhu, and the 10th day it is just like a little berry size. Pasyandam Ve Tatah Param, and likewise the egg develops. Likewise, this universe also, Daivakyuta Dharminyam, this is the Lord injects his Adatki Viryam Sasota Mahatattvam Hiranmayam. Okay, that is the creation process. So the cosmic manifestation gives the conditioned souls a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. And that is its main purpose. See, this is the other time, so Kaddama Prajapati's prayer, Naitat Batadis Padam Tevesitam, Yanmayaha, Tanusya Bhota Sukshmam, Anugrahaya Astu Api Yerhimaya, Lasatulasya Bhagavan Vilakchitaha. So likewise, he gives the opportunity for the living entities to come back home by carrying out their devotional service. So here the Lord is so kind. This is Lord is so kind in the absence of such manifestation. He feels something wanting, and thus the creation takes place. Okay, so this is the Lord's will again. And although the creation of the internal potency was manifested, so Vaikuntha Lokas, they are always manifested. That other potency appeared to be sleeping, the material energy. This is the at that time. And the Lord wanted to awaken her to activity, just as husband wants to awaken his wife from the sleeping state for enjoyment. And then for Prabhupada is describing those parts, and then the whole process is to enliven the sleeping condition soul to the real life of spiritual consciousness, so that they may thus become perfect as the ever liberated souls in the Vaikuntha Lokas. He wanted to bring all the conditioned souls to Vaikuntha Lokas. That is his purpose. And since the Lord is Sachidananda Vigraha, he likes every part and parcel of his different potencies to take part in the blissful rasa. This is participate in the Rasalila dance. Rasotsava Samkrutto Gopi Mandala Manditaha Yogeshwarena Krishnena Tasa Madhye Dvayodvayaha. If we wanted to dance with Krishna, so we need to take devotional service and develop our mood and the rasas towards Krishna. And Krishna dances there in the Rasa Mandala, in the Goloka Vrindavana. So there is a Satisringa mountain is there, Virija river is there. In between those mountains, Rasa Mandala is expanded, where he has got Gopi and Radharani, all others. Again, very beautiful pastimes of Goloka Vrindavana. So that is where Rasa dance takes place. Okay, so this is the eternal Rasa Leela is the highest living condition, perfect in the spiritual bliss and eternal knowledge. Okay, likewise, Prabhupada is describing here. I stopped here. And I request dear devotees, if you wanted to share anything about these three verses, or if you wanted to ask any questions, kindly share or ask any questions. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I wanted to ask a question, and I don't know if it is my ignorance, but is there a difference between Krishna Lok, Vaikuntha, and Golok Vrindavan?
Yes, so here, do you see here is the screen? So here we have got so many Vaikuntha planets. And out of this, all these planets, on top of it is the Goloka Vrindavan. If we see here, Goloka Vrindavan, where Krishna and Radharani, they are engaged in their pastimes. And here again the split, which is like a lotus flower. Sahasra Patra Kamalam Gokulakyam Mahatpadam Tat Kadnikaram Tad Dhama Tadanantasha Sambhavam. It is the by expansion of his Lord's Ananta Shakti. It is the Balaram's energy. So he is the Dhama. He expands like Sahasra Patra Kamalam. And then again it is by our Acharyas, 8 the primary gopis, and then 8 manjaris, and further so many other manjaris, and in each petal Krishna carries out different pastimes. This is the Goloka Vrindavana, where he expands himself Vasudeva, Sankashana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. This is the first Chaturyuga. And then from the Sankashana, so Sankashana expands himself into Narayana. Narayana is in the Vaikuntha Loka. So here Narayana, the same Krishna in the opulent form with 4 hands. This is the Narayana. Here Narayana in the opulent form, all of the different energies, they are serving the Lord. Like he is sitting on the Yoga Pita. So Prabhupada describes the throne which he is sitting is called Yoga Pita, and Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, Aishwarya, they're all serving the Lord in a different energies. Again, here Narayana has got the 4 expansions: Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So here, these are the 4 expansions, the 4 corners. Again, here, if we see here a little bit, we have got alphabets and everything. These are existing here. Again, there is a Gayatri mantra is there in the circle here. So this is Vaikuntha plant in the opulent form. But Goloka is the topmost.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. That was very well explained. Thank you.
Mataji. Any other questions? Yeah, devotees, are any sharings you wanted to share, any reflections? Okay, there are no questions or no reflections, no sharings, then we shall conclude our session for tonight. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining this evening to hear and Srimad Bhagavatam, and also giving me an opportunity to say a few words. Yes, then we shall conclude. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice class. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, everyone. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the nice class. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.